Dick Cheney, your father, a beloved figure among Democrats for many, many years. Do you, if you know who he will be supporting or who he'll be voting for, do you care to share with us who he might be voting for?
Dick Cheney will be voting for Kamala Harris.
Words I never expected to hear.
Yeah. If you think about the moment that we're in, and you think about how serious this moment is. My dad believes, and he's said publicly, that there's never been an individual in our country who is as grave a threat to our democracy as Donald Trump is. And that's the moment that we're facing.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Inside Intelligence. We are back again like we never left. Welcome back guys, and thank you. You had that right. That was Liz Cheney. After she announced that she is going to be voting for Kamala Harris, as if that was not enough. Then she dropped it that even her dad, Dick Cheney, he will be voting for Kamala Harris as well. Yeah, well, I believe we've talked about that this presidential 2024 election year is going to be history. History is going to happen. Whether Kamala Harris, whether she wins, if she wins, that's one history. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And if Donald Trump wins, that is another history. Because Donald Trump is going to be the first presidential candidate that we have all of this criminal baggage with him and still running for the office. You know what I mean? So that was what I said. Either candidate, it's going to be history if either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris wins. But before we got to that, now history is happening. Because for those who do not know Dick Cheney, he was a VP. Yep, VP to Bush, a Republican VP, a Republican VP voting for Kamala Harris. That's history right there. That is one history that got everybody talking. Because if y'all remember Dick Cheney and Democrat, what? They are not enemy, but they ain't friends. You know what I mean? So for this to be happening right now, this 2024 presidential election year, it's gonna be full packed with history. But yo, do y'all remember when Dick Cheney, when he had this advert about Donald Trump? Take a listen.
There's never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it.
Do they? Do they indeed know that Donald Trump lost deep in their heart? I wonder why these old Republicans, they were not speaking up then. Maybe because they thought Donald Trump is not going to come back again. Like, okay, let him keep saying whatever he was saying. But now, 2024 presidential election year, it's making it clearer that some Republicans, deep in their heart, knows that Donald Trump lost. Even though some are still denying it, that he did not lose that 2020 election here. But recently, there was a report that Donald Trump slightly said he lost. But the media, they are not covering that. But if Dick Cheney coming out now, that he knows he lost, and deep in some Republicans' heart, they know Donald Trump lost. So there is no way all of this is not getting to Donald Trump. But some says Donald Trump do not really need this endorsement, and some say Donald Trump is not really thinking about who he's endorsing, Kamala Harris or not. Boy, there is no way that this is not getting to Donald Trump, because even his staffs, Donald Trump former staffs, they are speaking up. They are speaking loud, and some of them are not even voting for him, or some of them are not even coming out to support him. I'm going to show you this lady. She worked for Donald Trump as well, and she got this to say. Take a listen.
Former Republican Congresswoman, staunch Trump critic Liz Cheney, making that news earlier today in Texas that her father, the very Republican, very conservative vice president, 2 terms, is going to vote for progressive Democrat Kamala Harris. I'm back with my panel. Joining us is former Trump White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah-Griffin, who is a Trump critic as well. Your reaction?
Listen, I'm not surprised. Liz Cheney is someone who put her career on the line to do what was right. She has been a vocal critic of the former president since January 6th, and she's endorsed Democrats before. She supported Abigail Spanberger, Alyssa Slotkin. I think this is noteworthy. We've talked a lot this election about the so-called Nikki Haley voters, this roughly 20%
That's like you.
of primary voters who turned out to vote against Trump in the primary and even kept voting after Nikki Haley was out of the race. Those voters are better understood as Liz Cheney voters. They're people who are reliable Republicans, probably with them in 2016, probably with them in 2020, but January 6th was a bridge too far. Not supporting Ukraine is...
That was Miss Griffin. She worked under Donald Trump when he was president, and now she is with Nikki Haley voters, just like so many Republicans like that, because they were happy when Nikki Haley came on board, because then Nikki Haley spoke what they want to hear. Republican values. She might not be speaking the whole, but at least she was speaking, some Republicans' values, and they fell in love with her, with Nikki Haley, and they fell in line with her. They were voting for her. But unfortunately, Donald Trump did not allow Nikki Haley close to the finish line before she dropped out. She dropped out, she took her time, but she finally endorsed Donald Trump. But our voters, our supporters, they are still not happy with her. Even though she says she's going to campaign for Donald Trump, but how is it possible for her to look them in the eyes and tell them, like, the guy I told you not to vote for because I told you he was not fit for the office? Y'all remember Nikki Haley was telling she was on national TV campaigning that Donald Trump was not fit for the office, that whosoever let go of their old candidate, we win this 2024 election. Yeah, she said all of that. So how is it possible now for her to go to the same voters and tell them, like, the guy I told you not to vote for, now I want y'all to vote for him? You know what I mean? That's the 20% out there that Miss Griffin is talking about. That before they were thinking, they might be thinking, is it possible for them to vote for a Democrat, even though they are Republicans? But Dick Cheney coming out, speaking out, saying what he said is going to give them a reason to think that it's not a bad idea, because they do not want to vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, 2024 presidential election year, it's going to be lit. Are you ready? Get your popcorn ready. The Tuesday debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, we are going to catch up for sure. Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. Thank you to my return subscribers. As usual, please let's respect ourselves while we comment.